Hey, welcome to another episode of Three Conservative Gimps, where we give you the information you need to make an informed decision at the voting booth. So we got a great show for you today. Hey, we got not a special guest, but he's been absent for a while. So let's get this show on the road. Let's welcome my old buddy from Muskogee, Oklahoma, the dulcet tones of Lloyd Mendenhall. Welcome, welcome.
Hello, hello, hello. Oh, glad to be back here. Seems like forever since I've been here. Wow.
Yep. Yeah, it
Yeah,
does.
it's been a rough couple of months, I'm telling you. But
Yes,
things are looking up. Judy's doing she's doing better in a lot of
that's
ways. It's still, today's been a fairly decent day for her. But
good.
yeah, but yeah, it got real close. I think I talked about it a little bit on my show last week, but we came close to losing her. And
Right.
it, and now I've got home health care coming in that's going to keep an eye on things to make sure I stay on top of
Awesome.
stuff. And if anybody's wondering, I'm sitting here in my kitchen, which is where I originally started broadcasting the Grumpy Vlogger from. And right behind the screen there is the door to our bedroom, and it's a French doors, double doors, and I can see Judy from here. And if I need to get up, it's just trying not to trip over Ranger, but I can be right in there. he's laying here at the end of our table right now by my feet, so I can be in there to do anything. So I had to do all the updates today, but hey, I'm glad to be here. So
Great, great, wonderful. All right, let's welcome our other co-host all the way from the great blue state of New York. Let's welcome Charles Gillespie. Welcome, welcome.
Hello, Art. Hey, Lloyd. Hey,
hey,
folks in the
Hello,
Charles.
chat.
hello. Good to see you. And how's the weather in your neck of the woods?
Just cold, gloomy today.
Yeah. All right, all right. All right, so let's say hello to a few folks in the chat. We've got Ronnie, God bless America, and Steve Knowles, welcome, welcome. Brian, Waypoint, New England, welcome, welcome. And we got TJ. Good to see you, TJ. Welcome, welcome. We got Lee, Yellow Rose Drone, Max of Max Air 420, and we got Rob Supreme. Hey, Rob, good to see you. It's been a while. And we got Grant Mr. S in the chat. And who else? And that is about it for now. So we got a fairly good group. For a Sunday show, that's pretty good. So, so a lot of stuff happened in the last couple of weeks. I wasn't here last week. I was over at my old buddy Rick Enstrom's house watching the Super Bowl. Sadly, my team didn't win, but it was a good game. The ads were pretty interesting. Saw one political ad, and that was for RFK Jr., which, from what I understand, landed him in hot water with his family. Because I guess what did it do? It took some of his uncle's JFK's campaign uh, footage and used it as his own, and they kind of thought that was kind of sacrilege because he's running as an independent this election. So, Lloyd, you got anything to add
Yeah,
to that?
well, that ad was put on by one of the PACs, political action committees, and they're not allowed to contact the person they're supporting. They do this independent of input from those people, and he didn't authorize it, but they didn't ask for his authorization, and he apologized to his family members because they're all liberal Democrats, and a couple of his
Right.
cousins took offense at it. How don't use Uncle John's picture and stuff like that. And
Right.
just it was, and it was. I've seen him. And it wasn't no big deal, but yeah, it was. The funny thing I find about it is that RFK Jr. is more in line. His thinking is more in line with his dad and his uncle's thinking, anyways.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because they've gotten to be so. The Democrats become so far left liberal,
Right.
downright communist that, and that's not what I mean. John Kennedy fought for this country,
Right.
and in the end, he took a bullet for this country,
Yes. Yes, he did.
in the worst
Mm-hmm.
possible way. So it's in the way RFK is portraying himself as an independent and is a rather conservative in a lot of ways, and he's probably closer to libertarian than he is anything,
Right.
But he's old school Democrat. He's what they call a blue dog Democrat.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, so he apologized, but there were some other commercials. I understand. I didn't see them all. I haven't gone through them yet, but there was one or two about Jesus, which I
Right. Yeah.
found just. I'm surprised they even sold him the spot.
Right.
That was what I think I caught one of them on something. I was just like, wow,
Yeah. Yeah. It was basically, Jesus washed the feet of,
yeah,
and
yeah.
they showed the one that kind of got me was, well, there were two. One was they were washing the feet of a, I don't know, pregnant woman in front of a Planned Parenthood place. And then there was another one where someone's washing the feet of a Muslim, which I thought was kind of
Yeah,
odd, because
it was.
they,
That I did. I guess I did see him because I remember the one about Planned Parenthood. I do remember the one about Muslim too. And that's, uh, yeah, that's kind of a stretch on that one. That was a little bit,
yeah,
but you know, and the thing is, a lot of people don't realize that the Muslims recognize Jesus as a great teacher and prophet, and they recognize Mary as they venerate her because the Muslims were they started out as they're sort of a offshoot of Christianity.
uh-huh,
It was, and yeah, and unfortunately, Cool Cat. By the way, Cool Cat, I did not have a way to contact you, and I meant to say something the other night, but thank you very much for what you and Mudball Dawn sent to me. That's quite enjoyable and a hell of a surprise. So I really appreciate that. So I really appreciate that. I meant to say, and I haven't really been watching any shows in the last few weeks, just catch something here and there, and
right.
but that was, and it's good too.
Mhm.
It's some good candy. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with the instruments. They're
Yeah, and
well,
it was really a nice box. It's it was a velvet covered heart with a bow on it. Really nice. I mean, and it's sturdy. It's probably when I threw with all the candy, there's a little bit left still. We haven't ate it all yet. Considering it was just Valentine's on Wednesday.
right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we haven't ate it all yet, but I'm working at it. But we'll use the box for something else. But I
Right.
did want to thank Cool Cat.
Oh,
I learned his name is Michael, I believe.
yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't know that. Other than the fact I have a list of names in my phone and I didn't have his, but it was on the label. So
Yep.
we passed it on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, thank you. But I do appreciate that. It was very, very nice. And
Mm-hmm.
Judy was touched by it too. And
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Well, Grant was the winner last night, so Judy is getting some toffee. And so, since tomorrow's
we're going
President's
to arm
Day,
wrestle over it. We'll arm wrestle over it.
there you go.
She,
So,
the truth of the matter is she'd probably beat me because those of you know she'd been sick and and I appreciate all the kind thoughts and prayers and good vibrations and all that came out of it, but that you guys have sent. But one of the things is she went to the hospital that second time, which was I don't know 3 weeks ago Friday. That was the last time she had a cigarette. She quit smoking.
good.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
That's
50.
good.
Let's see, 48 years of smoking, and
Wow.
or actually no, 50 years of smoking, and she quit. This was it just scared her too much.
Right.
Not being,
Mhm.
and her breathing is a lot better. She still has to take medication. She still has to have her oxygen treatments, but she's really doing good in that respect. And I mean, she couldn't. We had, and I know I'm taking up time to talk about this, but she couldn't walk 2 foot without having to, hit her inhaler 3 or 4 times. And now,
Right.
she's so much better. She can walk a lot further. But yeah, she's still got a long ways to go. But that's what the speech therapist, the physical therapist, and the nurse are working on. Speech therapist is going to work on her lung expansion. So,
Mm-hmm.
and anyways, but yeah. So back to politics. Yeah, the
Okay.
commercials. I saw that and I thought, I'm like you. It was a little too much.
Yeah. Planet of the Apes, that looks pretty good. Wicked, I'm like, nah, I think I'll pass on that.
Yeah.
That was the Wizard of Oz
Oh yeah, I
spin-off.
saw
Pretty cool,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Well, they did one. They did one with who the hell was in it? It was a prequel of the Wizard of Oz.
Ah.
Are you talking
Okay.
about Tin Man
No,
that they did
no,
on the Sci-Fi Channel?
yeah, Tin Man was good. That was an excellent show. I actually downloaded that so I could watch it on my iPad because it's one of my favorites. But oh wow, yeah, Ronnie, that's
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that I knock on wood, I have not had a heart attack. Shut up, you idiot! That was me. Dog was
Get
dumbing
those
about
dogs all
frogs.
screwed up. Yep.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, no, it was. Oh, it. I can't remember who the guy
Oh, was
was.
it the one with Michael Jackson and Diane?
No, not the Wiz. No, this was one that
Oh,
was. This was one where he is a con man, an artist, and con man, and works in the fairs, and his balloon gets taken up, and
oh
that's
yeah, yeah,
who.
yeah. He's the guy behind the curtain.
Yeah, and he ends up in meeting and it was well done, I thought, and shows
Okay.
how the Wicked Witch, she wasn't green originally. She wasn't actually a Wicked Witch. She was actually in love with the wizard, and then he betrayed her because he was a con artist, and she
Okay.
took some poison and made her turn green, and that's how she became. And
Okay.
that's an excellent one if you want to see it. But I'll find the name and talk about it on my show. But
All
moving
right.
right along.
Alrighty, so moving right along, we had some interesting testimony coming out of Georgia. Ms. Fani Willis, what you talking about, Willis? With her testimony about the, having relations with the her prosecuting attorney and going on these trips and say, well, I paid my half, and oh my, it's like, and then they had Nate, what's his name on there, the guy that she was having an affair with, and that guy was also a smug jerk. Fannie Willis was acting like, talk to the hand, that kind of attitude. And I thought, God, I'm surprised the judge didn't
what
on
was
her.
funny is she wasn't going to testify, and as her attorneys were standing there reiterating that no, she will not be testifying, she comes storming in there and does a anyway, she comes storming in there and does a surprise thing. Hey, look at me. I'm going to testify, by God. And the reason she did it is because her boyfriend was losing his butt on the stand. He was sweating. I mean, he was literally pouring, just pouring down sweat because he was, his testimony sucked. He couldn't get the facts straight. He didn't have. Yeah, probably. Yeah. But no, I know what I was trying to, the phrase I was looking for. She did a Hunter Biden, wasn't going to testify, then shows up and says, well, I'm here. And so they scrambled for a little bit. And I don't know that she helped her cause or helped his cause because her attitude.
Her attitude and the pink outfit she was wearing. I'm like going, okay, you want to testify and you got an ill-fitting pink dress that makes you look like you're wearing a lumpy pink burlap sack.
Yeah, she looked like a bottle of Pepsi.
I'm like going, that dude must not have good taste or something.
Well, the thing is if they were trying to avoid the appearance of impropriety and some of that, what they should have done is they should have paid by check or by credit cards or something like that. This whole cash thing.
Yeah.
And then her father testifies. She says, oh, I don't mean to sound racist, but it's a black thing. I'm thinking, no, it's not. I do that. I keep cash because I pay, I get paid once a month, so I got to really watch what I spend each week. Okay, once my bills are paid, what's left is what I eat on. And so, and I'm of the opinion that the bank shouldn't be able to keep my money in the bank and then loan it to somebody else and draw interest when they're not paying me any interest. So I take it out, and that's
there you go.
But I learned that from my mother, who was that was the way they did it in the Depression, because all the banks had collapsed, during the Depression. So a lot of Depression era people, so it wasn't a black thing. He but then he probably, and he's an ex-Black Panther himself. He was a former member of the Black Panthers.
Interesting.
The original Black Panthers back in the 60s. He was one of those equal rights protesters and stuff. But I don't believe much what she said, and they did. And of course, the reason they used cash is because it is not traceable. But in this case, they might need a paper trail to support their point of view, and they're probably both thinking. And of course, he was doing a terrible job of trying to come up with this excuse of and they had the goods on him, and he just could not come up. So she come in, thought if she just blustered enough and huffed and puffed and all that maybe everybody would say, oh she's it was but it was the race card. It was the female race card, and which I think it was silly.
What'll end up happening is I think that whole case will get thrown out. I think they've just done so much damage to themselves that this case is going to get thrown out, and she may get disbarred and thrown out of office. And
yeah.
yeah,
Well, probably what'll be happening, it'll be dismissed with prejudice, which means they can go back and refile it at a later date.
yeah,
And they'll get a different attorney and somebody, or she could end up recusing herself, and he could recuse himself, and then they would
right.
have to bring in a special district attorney for the state, or attorney general, somebody I don't know what is she. She's just a district attorney, I think. She's not the state
Right.
attorney general, is she?
I think she's district attorney. Yeah,
Just district,
So-
yeah.
So what will probably end up happening is she'll be a new host on The View.
Yeah.
So that's probably what she's
Well,
doing.
Whoopi's getting a little long in the tooth, so
Yeah.
it's time for her to retire.
That's right, Cool Cat Michael. It's just weaponization of
Yeah.
illegals, and our country is devolving into what we would call a third world nation. Using this kind of tactics, and it's like, man, it's like I thought it was bad when George W. Bush was president. They were giving him hard time. And then when Trump came around, it's like, oh, holy hell, they're going after him.
Yeah. And you look at this and you think, well, why would they attack him? Because he had no clue how things ran, and they didn't want him to upset the apple cart. Both
That's right.
Both Republicans and Democrats were after it, and the Never Trumpers and stuff like that.
Drain the swamp.
Yeah, and it was because they wanted, they joke about some people joke about the deep state, and but with the president we currently have, there's got to be somebody running it.
Right. Well, I mean, I think we know who it is. It's Obama that's actually running the government, because from what I understand, listening to Glenn Beck talking to Megyn Kelly, Barack Obama still has a home in D.C. Out of all the presidents, he's the only one that hasn't moved away. Everyone else has gone back to their home state, or even though he's got a place in Martha's Vineyard. Hold on a sec.
Yep. Yeah, and and that brings up the other point is kind of later about if because the way I see it is Biden will drop out of the convention. I've been saying this for a while.
Right.
I really think, and they're going to bring in somebody who is electable, and if they're smart, and somebody who's moderate to an extent.
No, I don't think the far left will go for that.
Well, I think they're going to have. If
they're going to have to.
Yeah, I think they'll have to, but they won't like it. In order to get somebody who can beat Trump, which gives us your favorite governor and Mr. Newsom out of California, and of course, there's the ever-threatening Michelle Obama.
Obama, yeah.
But I've been a lot of people are saying she couldn't stand being the first lady. She didn't want to be in Washington. She was tired of it. She didn't even want him to run. But I think that's I think that's just smoke and mirrors.
Right. It's either Obama that's running it or Valerie Jarrett. Yeah. And who really has the football? Because I don't think it's anywhere near Joe Biden. either that or maybe they got it set up to where it's like, you know how when you gotta get on a website, it's like, which one of these has the fire hydrant in it?
Yeah.
No.
Steve, yeah, and I've been hearing a lot of that Michelle won't run. So that's that's a nice prospect if she doesn't run, because
Right.
if somebody could beat Trump, it would that could pull the independents. I think it would be her.
Right.
I don't know about these others. Independents are a horse of a different color, to say the least.
Yeah. Independence or
Decided.
Unaffiliated.
Unaffiliated, yeah.
They tend to break left.
Yeah, well, and I think anybody who's unaffiliated is independent. They're independent of either major party.
Yeah.
Although in some
here in Colorado, we do have an independent party, but that's another party. But we, the way our makeup is, it's mostly it's
Michael.
It's Democrat, Republican, and unaffiliates. And it's broken up, and the unaffiliates are over 40% of the population, and where the Republicans are now 24%, where it used to be a third, where the Democrats had a slight edge. But now the way the Republican Party here in Colorado has just gone to shits, and I don't know if you saw my posting on Facebook.
I did. Yeah.
I got my primary ballot for president, and I go, whoop, it's going in the trash, because none of those guys are going to get any electoral votes. So, and this is going to piss off some people, but I think I'm going to vote for RFK Jr., because I think if enough of us vote for him, maybe he'll get Colorado and take enough electoral votes away from Joe Biden.
Yeah, and that's the that's the kicker right there. Right now, RFK isn't really. And speaking of him, I think who is it Mayorkas? Who's the head of the Department of Homeland Security? Is that Mayorkas?
Mayorkas, yeah.
Yep, he just got impeached.
Denying RFK Jr. Secret Service, really?
Oh yes, that's right.
That is just not one. He's personally done it himself. I mean, he literally said no, and they're panicking because they have to deal with Harris, and that's true. They've still got Harris to deal with. They can't very well say, well, you can be vice president again if you like, but under a different leader. That's not going to sit well with her. And that would seal Donald's election. Now, Trump's very electable. I think what they're doing, though, in all these court cases is trying to bankrupt him.
Yeah, that's right.
Trying to make it. He's spending all of his money on court costs. Like this last fiasco with
up in New York.
With that goofy ass looking judge.
There was no victim. There was no crime. Nobody was harmed. So that's pure BS.
But the judge is insisting he pay the money now, even though it's going into appeal. So
that may get stopped by the appellate court above them and say nope, not going to happen. Yeah.
Well, they'll at least put a stay on it, or whatever you call it,
right?
Until
that all depends on where the appellate. If it's a New York State appellate court, I wouldn't count on it.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah, that's true. So I mean, it may get kicked all the way back up to the Supreme Court, and they could just say nope. But this is a state case, so they may not have any jurisdiction over that. So that could be a sticking point. And
yeah, well,
but that won't prevent him from, running for office.
yeah.
I mean, it'll slow him down because you'll have to do a big chunk of change. But I've been seeing around there are people doing a GoFundMe to help him pay for that legal bill. But I don't know if GoFundMe would allow that.
Well, and that's it. It's because GoFundMe is as liberal as everybody else.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna. But yeah, what Ronnie said there, Obama made it very clear his intentions on TV to sit in his basement and have a front man or woman with an earpiece running his third term.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now we know why he bought a house so close to Washington. Yeah.
Right.
To the White House.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, and the fine is so, egregious and out of proportion.
Yeah, and that the guy, I don't know. It's just they found him guilty already. Without,
and the judge, he looked like a shyster judge.
Yeah. I mean
right from the get-go, he was smiling and posing for the camera, just trying to make sure he looked good.
Yeah.
The whole thing was a joke.
Yeah, he even said, I want to make sure they get my best side. It's like, I'm sorry, I don't care. Unless they had some really good filters, his picture was never going to look good. He's the ugliest. He's one of the ugliest damn people I ever seen. With that big silly ass grin, it's like that grin. He could be the next Joker in the next Batman movie.
Yeah, there you go. And what gets me is all these people are crying about, oh, we gotta save democracy. It's like, wait a minute, you're gonna deny somebody to run an election? I mean, that doesn't sound democratic.
My understanding the way to save democracy is if you think this guy is going to destroy it, then you vote against him. That's how you save democracy.
Yeah,
you don't take him to trial before he ever gets. Officially, he doesn't even have the nomination yet. So, but yet, they're just so two-faced. It's just sad. It's pathetic, and I'll be honest with you. It would I'd rather see RFK Jr. in there than I would Harris or the white-haired old fool that's there now. Biden,
but still, he's liberal, and he'll bring a lot of liberal policies in. So
but new school liberal or old school liberal? That's
the key right there.
Yeah.
Because he definitely is an old school Democrat. He's so much like his father and his uncle in their politics.
Or his dad, his dad and his uncle, Not his Uncle Ted. He was his
Uncle Ted was a goofball.
Yeah, he was he was moving to his left, up till he passed away.
Yeah.
He pretty much didn't he die in office? I think he did die in office.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he did. He died in office.
Yep. So and let's see. And it was oh God, it was that Republican that briefly held his seat.
Oh yeah.
Scott Brown. Yeah, Scott Brown.
Yeah.
That seat for one term, and then Pocahontas beat him. That would be Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, and I hate to say this because her family's from Oklahoma. She's an Okie. She's from Oklahoma. And in Oklahoma, as my brother used to say, because our family's all from here, Judy's family. In Oklahoma, everybody's got a dead Indian grandma somewhere.
Right.
Most of the time, the stories are not true, but there was the whole because they're and if you look, she'll say her Indians were Cherokee, and that's probably what's told her, but they
Right.
didn't want to register on the Dawes roll, because it was well, if they were living in Oklahoma, hell, everybody here at that time was Native American anyway. So why in the hell
Right.
wouldn't they register? They've got land if they did. So that
Right.
doesn't that doesn't pass the smell test,
Right.
And so to hear the story, and I've heard the story in my own family, and I heard it in Judy's family. It's part of the lore and legend of being raised in Oklahoma, because the Indians, the Native Americans, or the First Nation, or whatever the hell you want to call them, or they call themselves this week, just they have a lot of clout in this state,
Right.
and
Thanks, Steve. Yeah,
you know,
smash that like button,
yeah,
folks.
hit the like
It
button. We
helps
could
the
use it.
algorithm. There's only 2 thumbs up. We got 11 people in, so let's get that up to.
So I mean, I can see where she got the story, but the fact that she was able to use it to get special treatment in college,
Yeah.
that
hmm
that doesn't happen. That was I don't know how she did it, because to be honest
Yeah.
with you, she would have had to have a roll number or been recognized by a tribe that
Right.
and how she got by with it, I don't know.
Well, I mean, Harvard is corrupt. They just wanted to check off that
Yeah,
box.
that
Hey, we
box,
got an
yeah.
Indian. Yay! Let's check off that box. You're
But-
Asian? Nope, can't be.
Yeah.
That's almost like
But
being white. Can't be
look,
here.
look at Iron Eyes Cody.
Yeah, he wasn't even Indian.
No, he was Italian. Sorry,
Yeah.
Italian. For those of you people that know how to say it right,
Mhm.
he was Italian, not Italian. But for people down south, he was an Italian. But yeah, he wasn't Indian at all.
That's right, Michael. Yeah, Kevin O'Leary. I mean, that's common practice.
Yeah.
What Trump did.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
Yep.
and
So they just wanted to get a big fine and
Right.
to bar his kids from doing business in New York.
right.
Is and on top, did you hear about the truckers? They won't go into New York City over this. They won't make deliveries. So they go,
Pretty
well,
soon it's going to be just. It's going to be just. In Charles, I know you live, but hopefully you live in a part that's going to be okay. But it's going to be just like what's the guy's name? Snake Plimpton, an Escape from New York.
Escape from New York. Yeah.
Yeah.
ah,
Yeah. That's what's going to happen in New York City eventually. And it's already there. They just ain't
Snake
put the fence up
Plissken.
yet.
Well, nothing to do with Trump, but it's going to be really hard for truckers to get into New York City because they've started putting cameras up around certain sections of Manhattan, not for speeding, but for just, are you there with a vehicle?
right.
And they're charging trucks $35 a day to come into the city.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And New York City has said that they won't charge for people leaving the city, but yet they already have cameras set up around to monitor who's leaving the city.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
It's $35 for a truck. I think $25 for a car, and $5 or $15 for a bike.
Okay, Steve.
Two wheel thing.
Right, Steve. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, New York's killing herself over these.
Well, yeah.
This mayor
Mhm.
that they've got makes
Lori Lightfoot
Lori
look like
Lightfoot. Yeah, yeah.
no.
That is just one ugly damn woman.
Oh yeah, I
I mean,
know.
she's supposed to be of African American descent, but shit, she's whiter than I am.
Yep.
She is
She's
pale. Oh my,
Beetlejuice descent.
Beetlejuice. Yeah, that's who she looks like. Yeah, Beetlejuice.
Yep. Hmm.
Let's not say her name. Let's not say the name 3 times because
Yeah,
we
that's
don't want
right.
her.
2 more.
We don't want
No,
her coming back.
right. Mhm. So, did you hear
All
about
of a sudden,
these?
the fourth window pops up, and there she is in the middle of our broadcast.
Yeah, yeah. Oh God, yeah. That would be frightening.
So, you hear about these Harvard students that they're on a hunger strike for Hamas? Yeah, because they heard the Brown students were doing their hunger strike. Only they didn't realize that's Brown University, not Brown students.
Yeah, and you know that's how sad it is that Harvard used to be one of our premier colleges, and
Right.
you've got those kind of idiots going to school there.
Right.
It's
Mhm.
just,
Oh yeah, this whole thing about quotas and stuff is it's really wrecked the school's image. Saying, well, now
oh yeah,
every time you got a minority who's got a degree from Harvard, people are going to suspect. Oh well, how good is this guy? I mean, is he like?
yeah.
Is he really that good, or is he just got by?
Yeah, I mean, I think a Harvard degree is what's that one
Now,
they advertise on TV? Southern New Hampshire University.
Yeah, SNHU.
It's
Yep, yep.
gonna. That's what a Harvard University degree is going to be worth
right.
now.
Yeah, it's more like Divide College of the
Divide, yeah,
East.
Divide College. Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. That's what it's boiled down to. I mean, that's what a Harvard degree is worth now.
Yep. You're right. I was on a hunger strike for 10 hours yesterday.
Oh,
Because I
really?
don't know if you heard about my bout with a stomach bug yesterday. Getting up every couple hours. I thought I was prepping for a colonoscopy. Uh, I was just so wiped out from it, and I slept not straight 10 hours, but it was all
Close. Yeah,
together.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because I went to bed at 7:30, and I woke up at finally got going around at 5:30, 6 o'clock yesterday morning. It was like, ugh, boy.
Yeah, they're talking about the border problems down in that's another thing. And
Mhm.
there, I read somewhere that it's going to a lot of states are going to allow, or no, President Biden, he declared that even the illegals should be included in the census, which is going to change the the electoral balance,
Right, right.
based off of these illegals that are coming in, and
Mhm.
you know
Mhm.
they're getting more rights than we are. I mean, we got veterans
Yep.
that are living on the streets, and yet these people are being put into decent house,
Hotels.
hotels, and
Well, I think we ought to let the liberal good-doers, the good doers, hey, let's let them take in these illegals.
well, yeah, I saw there was there are some people that have volunteered to do that. I saw one
Oh well,
couple.
that's good. Let's get I don't know, the governor of Colorado. Maybe he could let him stay at the governor's mansion. He's not
Yeah,
living there.
you guys are having a real uproar there because Denver's wanting to send him out to was it Arvada or
Aurora, probably.
Aurora. Yeah,
Because
and
Mike
they're
Coffman,
saying
he's the mayor there. He's the former congressman from Aurora, who he lost to Jason Crow.
right.
And so he just got elected to his second term, and he won by a sizable margin this time,
Well,
which is good.
Aurora's pretty ticked off about that and said, "No, hell no."
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and
Yep.
and it's nothing against the families that are coming across and trying to do better, but it's the way it's done. I've got neighbors across the street that if they have families that come over the illegal way, they house them, they feed them, they get them a job, and they get them their paperwork so that they can become legal because they pride themselves on being legal. And
Right.
they're fourth generation now out there
Right.
in that family. That many of the cousins they come across it in California, and then they work their way to Oklahoma, and they make sure that everything is done properly. They might have slipped across, they might have come across with a work visa, but as soon as they could, they headed this direction.
Mhm.
And
Right.
they work. They're a hardworking bunch of people, and they're other than my son next door, they're the best neighbors I've had.
Mhm.
And even then, I'm sometimes worried about my son. But the neighbors across the street, they've been legal for years and very proud of it.
Mhm.
And they're American citizens and they
Mhm.
vote. And
Yep. That's right. You can't have welfare and unprotected border at the same. Yeah.
yeah,
Because nothing's free. I mean, money's got to come from somewhere, and each time our federal government starts printing money, it devaluates the dollar.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, yeah, and it's just how long is it sustainable? So
Right. Mm.
I
Well,
mean,
I mean, it's
look
part
at
of the
look at
Howard Priven strategy. They want to overwhelm the system to a point where the whole thing just goes to shit and it falls apart, and then they'll come in and say, well, you need us to fix everything. You can't rely on
yeah,
these
yeah,
hateful Republicans, these racist Republicans. I think that's another thing that Donald Trump is about. He's pushing back on these liberals and the media when they push the race card and all
right,
that
right,
crap. He goes,
yeah,
no. He throws it back at them, and I think that's what Republicans should have been doing 40, 50 years ago,
yeah,
refuting these claims. But no, they just let it slide by, and that's one of the big things that always really just pisses me off about Republicans is we never fight back. But no, we
yeah,
got to be Christians, and we
yeah,
got to
and
be
that
cheek.
turn that other cheek, and that was unfortunately the problem with the Republicans for years. You know, good or bad, we're not taking it as much as we were, but yeah, you look at it from the point of view, well, we're good Christians, we're forgiving, we turn the other cheek and all that, but Christianity isn't at the forefront of the Republican Party as much as it was.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And Christianity has become very diluted. Uh,
Mhm.
as well as delusional in some groups,
Yeah.
you know. But and that's a sad thing that we don't have, uh, family, God, family, and country. The God part's missing a lot. Even if you're not a strong believer, the moral compass is missing. Yeah, and in some ways, that's sort of helping the Republicans now because we're not putting up with the bullshit like we were, 40 years ago, but we're still there. We still got to have somebody has got to come along and or they at some point they always have to say, like when Trump has to approach the Christian conservatives, the evangelicals. They're still a big voting bloc,
Right.
And yet, if you say the wrong thing, they're the first one to jump in about separation of church and state. I mean, they just get all sorts of nasty about that.
Right.
But yet they want to be in politics, and I think that
that's interesting.
What's that?
What Cool Cat says, Michael. He's an atheist. And he agrees with us.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. You can be an agnostic or an atheist or whatever and still have a moral compass. Right from wrong. You can, and I don't have it's having a morality is what our nation is lacking now, and we got a lot of Christians and a lot of other religions in this country, but yet we still, have this our moralities has really become is there are as a nation we don't have a morality anymore, or not much of one.
Yeah, you're right on that, Joey. I think that should be put on the back burner because now the Roe v. Wade's been reversed and it goes back to the states where it should have been. It should have been up to the people of those states if they want to have abortion or not. No, it shouldn't be up to the federal government to.
When Gerald Ford ran, and they were going through the nomination process, and they were set back when they actually showed the conventions, and they weren't some, a little bit of hoopla here and there, but everything, that you saw the whole convention, all the fighting going on, and reporters being beat up at the Democratic conventions and the good stuff, But when Gerald Ford was running, and they started putting down the planks for their platform, as they call it, and the first plank and the biggest one they seem to, it's like instead of just a 2x4 or a 1x4 or 1x6 for the plank, they were using a 4 foot by 8 foot piece of plywood.
Yeah.
And that whole one plank was all about the abortion thing. And, I've said this from back, like I said, when Gerald Ford ran for president, that we've got to quit putting that at, if we have people that have any moral fiber about them, have a moral compass, a moral center to them, that other stuff will work itself out because it was legal no matter what. If let's say the Republicans were able to appoint judges over the time period, like they did with Donald Trump, they're going to appoint people that have a moral and one who constitutional morality as well, not just not a human morality, but constitutional understanding. Those are the people, and that will take care of it. But up there ringing the bell, and that's what's hurt us for the last 50 years. Is making that abortion's bad. It's nasty. It's disgusting. It's a terrible thing, and it's it's also what's ruined the. I think it's also created some of the immoralities that we've got.
Right.
Uh,
Well, I
in which
remember going to a state assembly, and
I didn't
one of the
quit, guys.
speakers came up was from the log cabin Republicans, and I would start hearing boos from the crowd, and it's like, oh, you assholes, how it's like, hey, you're alienating a group of people that have our our views, and that's what's going on here in Colorado. Is we got too many factions that they're not interested in getting together and backing the nominee. They
Yeah,
don't want to do that. What they'll do is, if one party, if their guy gets nominated, what the other party will do is they'll say, "Hey, Libertarian Party, yeah, we'll support your candidate," and sink our chances of having a control of the state assembly. Like, for example, when we had the election for the newly created 8th district, we
right.
had someone from Weld County, but she was not well liked by the RMGO crowd, and they
Right.
decided to prop up a libertarian, and it was just enough to get a Democrat elected. And it was one of those districts that was competitive, and they made it so it was. And it just
I heard.
that was the thing that just really hacked me off about
Yeah.
the party. And I heard a quote from one of our local conservative talk show hosts. We have two parties. We have the evil party, and we have the stupid party. I go, yep, you're right.
Yeah, I heard there was
Mm-hmm.
a quote in a movie, and it was about a guy. He says he was underhanded type of guy, and this I think applies to the Republican Party, in which he says, "I am my own worst enemy, and I've got competition," and that's the way the Republican Party is. They're their own worst enemy, and they've got competition.
Yep.
In other words, they're so bad that they're competing against themselves to being their own worst enemy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right, Jay Bird. Well, guys, we managed to do over an hour, and I want to thank everybody in the chat for coming. And we had a good crowd tonight. So go tell your friends about our channel. Let's build this channel. Let's screw up the algorithm and get people to like our 1 hour thing here. And that's what helps to build up our watch time. We're really close to 500 subscribers. If we get over that hump and get up to, what is it, 3,000 watch hours minimum to get monetized? Yeah, if we could do that, then we could get stuff done and get $1 for Lloyd here and Charles. Thank you.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and thanks, Ronnie. Yeah. This is an excellent show tonight. I enjoy it, and I'm glad.
Pull up my G string for that $1.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So have a great weekend, Lloyd. You're having a show tomorrow.
I am having a show tomorrow. It may be right here, just like this.
All right. Great. Great. Same group here. We'll add another. Dominic will be here, and so have a great week, and we'll catch you all next week. Don't forget Art Co on Saturday. Always great stuff, and I got some more prizes coming. I got some drones I'm going to be giving away in the near future, so I'll have something to say about that soon. Take care, everybody, and God bless.
Good night, everyone.